Welcome, everyone, to our episode 79 of our section Drops of Wisdom. In today's episode, we are going to speak and talk about social media and what is doing to your brain. So stay until the end because I will give a lot of information in terms of what is happening to the brain. How are you reshaping your brain through the interaction of excessive time in these social platforms, whatever the name is? Any interaction with a screen, with an application that doesn't leave you thinking or that doesn't have a specific purpose is reshaping your brain and creating uh, several feelings of anxiety, depression, and it's contributing to creating these increasing statistics in chronic diseases. So, without further ado, let's go and let's speak about this interesting topic. Do you know what are your children or teenagers, or sometimes yourself, using social media for? Social media isn't just about likes and shares. Isn't about that. Isn't about sharing everything that you do in your life. Isn't about just broadcasting every single thing that you are doing in your life. So social media is also shaping your self-worth and mental health. The unrealistic body ideals and commercialization is constantly bombarding you daily, distorting perceptions and fueling anxiety. So, what can we do to break free from these standards and embrace our uniqueness? Your worth is not defined by likes or filters, but you should create filters for the kind of information that you are consuming in these platforms. So, one of the first strategies that I want to mention is creating awareness of social media addiction. And if you already answered, I don't have that addiction, this is not my case, well, that's the first symptom. When you are in neglect of something, it's because you are uh, having problems with that issue, with that thing, whatever it is. So, first thing that you have to do is recognize the signs of addiction, such as feeling overwhelmed or that you are wasting excessive time on social platforms. This is the first thing that you have to do. And what is this, or how can you recognize this? Well, when you are like in this situation, everyone is watching their phones, but no one is interacting with each other. Well, that means that you and your family have a problem with social media and excessive time in the house. And of course, to watch other things rather than talking with each other. So, what else is happening in terms of your brain? Let's go with the brain development. What is the impact of social media in your brain? You have to understand that how excessive screen time affects development of the brain in children by hindering social skills and cognitive process because you are having too much visual stimulation. There is no time when you are not specifically going for something in that platform. There is no time for you to think. So you are just receiving visual stimulation and comparative images and toxic emotions, etc. You are just being primed in terms of the emotions that people want you to develop. Why? Well, these are all the regions that become activated by excessive time on these social platforms. And excessive time, and I'm speaking about more than 1 hour every day in any of these social platforms. We shouldn't invest more than 1 or 1.5 hours in these kind of platforms. Because if you're doing that, we will make the statistics and the numbers at the end, and I will show you how you are wasting practically your life. So as you can see here, there is many regions of the brain that are related to social perception, to emotions and motivations, to behavioral adaptiveness, and of course to social attribution. And what does this social attribution means? It means how do you see yourself, and how important is the opinion of others, or the likes or the views or whatever it is that you are looking for in a social platform, um, measuring your value. So, and how depressed or how sad or what kind of emotions are triggering by the activation of not having enough um, interaction or response in a social platform. So all of these regions of the brain are being reshaped as we spend more time in any of these platforms. What are the effects on adolescents, teenagers, and children? We have to be aware that social media can lead to depression. Why? Due to these regions that are being activated. If you are activating emotions, if you are activating motivation, if you are activating comparison, and you are creating a different perception of the things that are happening, you are changing also the behavior, and you are not being adaptive to the behavior. Of course, that you are damaging the mental health of people. And if you are measuring your value through the opinion of others, which an opinion now um, goes back to if you obtain likes or views, well, that's the value that you are giving to your life, to your identity, to the perception and the attribution of social awareness that other people have about you. So that's toxic. Measuring yourself and all of these body image issues and also eating behaviors, disorders of eating behaviors, are activated through these regions. That's why we really have to pay attention to becoming a zombie. Just like in this image, there is another viral image or video that run when this year began, that uh, people were in Paris celebrating the new year, and as the year changed, many people, instead of being watching to each other and celebrating and doing those things, they were following the countdown in their phones, and they were not paying attention, and they didn't even notice that the year already changed. So they are so addictive right now, and many people are just walking like these people that we see in this image, and we see a lot of people in malls, in supermarkets, watching the phone like this, as if their life depends on that. So those are red flags of addiction. Those are signs that show extreme dependence on social media. And another red flag is increased jealousy in people and deterioration of face-to-face communication, interactions, social skills are being lost because people don't know how to interact socially because they are too much time in their phones. And nowadays they use these dumb behaviors just for not calling with other name, but really, really dumb, void, and meaningless behaviors of ghosting. Ghosting someone is just being a coward, to saying how you really feel, to saying that that person is no longer uh, required in your life, and you don't have to say it like that, but you can just say that we have different values now. I have very different interests from you. So I think that it's better that we separate each other from a while. I don't know how much, and that's it. You have to have the courage to tell people that you no longer want to be their friend or that they hurt you in any kind of way, and just explaining that it's better that you don't have any contact anymore. And that's it. That's the that's how we did it before these kind of things, these kind of digital devices. And that was also how to interact with each other socially also. So what are intervention strategies and what can we do? And these are also signs. Look at this statistic that is also in women, that they are more prone to be also having these depressive symptoms because they have too much comparison between each other, and because they are mostly comparing their image, their body shape, etc. And almost 40% of girls who spend more than 5 hours a day on social media show these symptoms of depression. And as you can see, the more time you spend, the higher the depression rate is being expressed. And why are they being judged by their body image? Because that's the purpose of these kind of platforms. It's just like the purpose of the industry to make you sick and keep consuming their products. Well, the purpose of social platforms is to prime your mind, to prime your comparison, to activate all of these regions of the brain that I review and lead you to depression and anxiety, which is going to lead you to buy products of the other industries. So it is just a full circle that is being created, and you are not realizing that you have the power to change and to break free from these things. What are intervention strategies that we can do? We can use some apps to start getting out from these platforms, and we can start doing simpler things, just interacting with each other as we used to do it before, or as we do it sometimes, without the devices, without things, going into nature, going into these friend reunions where you really pay attention to each other and where you are really connected and in tune with their emotion and sharing how you are feeling, why are you feeling like that, etc. Having those skills to interact, to have different conversations that are not just about the weather or politics. If you just have those two topics to speak about, you really have problems because you are not reading, you are not learning, you are not living, and you are just interacting. Or the other topic that comes to my mind that you can speak when you are addicted to these social platforms is about influencers or artists or entertainment. So if you have those three topics of interest, that means you are spending too much time in these platforms, and it's already affecting your mental health. That's why, and your social skills, of course. Imagine, do you remember when we used to see children playing in the playgrounds like that and not having access to tablets or mobile devices or all of those things? That used to be a lot more healthier than right now what we have. It's really, really depressing and sad just to watch children gain weight and being diagnosed with diseases such as first overweight, then obesity, then diabetes, and they don't even have 15 years old. They are really, really young, and they are already sick, and they are already with a chronic disease. Why? Because of the interactions with those screens. Too much screen time is also disrupting the way your brain is processing food. and you are creating anxiety, and anxiety will lead you to eat poorly. So if you really need more than these tools that are the simplest one, you can start using other tools like an app that is called Cold Turkey. This app that regulates the time, and I'm sure that there are a lot more apps now to block the time that you spend in a social platform. Those are things that you can apply already, and start measuring the time and start assigning time so that you also enjoy these kind of devices and use them as tools and not as an addictive behavior, and start being more mindful in the way you interact with social platforms. Start extracting the good things that they can have, and start taking away all the garbage that they are also made for. So if you really need more help in these things, well, we can start doing more aggressive things like having these baskets or whatever you want to use to detach from these devices, to put the device there and to start doing things that are going to make you be more present and unplug from the device and connected with the people and having different kind of emotions with people. So all of those things are going to create a much better supportive environment. If you are looking for more help strategies, what can you do? Well, there are many strategies to develop emotional regulation things or activities. The first one is naming or labeling your emotions, knowing how you are feeling. Then validate the emotion yourself, not online. Don't make a video crying. Don't make a video complaining. Just stay with the emotion by yourself and validate, recognize that you are feeling like that and that it's okay to feel sad in certain points of your life. Identify the triggers, identify what caused that emotion, how it was triggered, who also helped to trigger, because you trigger the emotion, but some people can help in that aspect. Some people can start triggering you so that you feel in a certain way, because these are people that are also full of these kind of emotions. And by identifying any of these triggers, an environment, a person, sometimes even certain type of food is triggering certain emotions, recognize that, identify that, and step away from those things. Meditation and mindfulness, of course, is a strategy that is extremely helpful because it makes you conscious of your breath, conscious of what you are doing, what you are thinking, identifying and letting thoughts pass, and just not being attached to those kind of emotions. Talking with your most intimate friends about your emotions, about how you feel. This is just in a casual way, in a way that also can help you a lot, because you are just getting out from these toxic cycles. And all of those things are going to help you to process your emotions. Journaling, this is one of my favorite and the best for me. And if you don't like to write, you can just record yourself and just speak about your emotions, speak about how you feel, because either speaking out loud uh, or writing helps you to download, to get them out from your mind, all of these emotions, and to start noticing that certain emotions were activated by environments, interactions, people, etc., food, lack of sleep, whatever it is. And then you start creating your own story about what is happening. And then you can identify solutions. You can just really quickly address the things that are happening with you. Notice when you really need a break from these kind of platforms and step away from them if you really feel that you are overwhelmed by any of the interactions that you are having inside of these platforms. Just try it for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3 days, and see how you feel. And also measure how you sleep. Sleep is such an important activity. It is an activity, it is something that you need to do. Sleep is something that your body needs to regulate, to renew, to process everything that you have inside of you, to repair many of the things, including your brain, and to make it stronger, more resilient, more active, easier to catch the things, to be more assertive, to solve problem, etc. We will have another episode about talking about the deep impact of sleep. Consider then, if you arrive to the last point, consider therapy if you really need to process very difficult emotions. So, emotional regulation is just your ability to effectively manage and respond to emotional experiences. When our emotions control us, how we feel, how we act, and only then start to think, that's when we really need to start adopting one of these strategies. These will provide benefits such as feeling, of course, better immediately, enhancing how you feel about yourself, your identity, everything, and make personal relationships better. If you're feeling better, of course, that the interaction with your friends, with your family, it's going to be much better. But if you start going into these negative spirals or going down in these wells of darkness, well, the result is that you are going to feel stronger negative emotions and you are hooked in these kind of toxic cycles. What else is another strategy to let you out and break free from these toxic cycles of emotions activated by social media? Well, cognitive behavioral therapy is one of them. This CBT helps you in terms of having more awareness of the thoughts that you are having, what kind of emotions you are experiencing, and of course, the behavior that those emotions are um, activating or priming. So this is the cycle of how it is being fed: thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And what about those things in terms of a deeper look into this cognitive behavioral therapy? Well, there is a triangle that you have, and this triangle is about yourself, it's about the future, and it's about other people, and it's based on your beliefs. So, evaluating your beliefs, your values, all of those things about yourself, about the future, about others, journaling or recording yourself or reflecting about those things is going to help you to have much better control about your thoughts, about the feelings, and about the behavior that the feelings are priming also. So, in that way, is how you start breaking the cycle by going deeper, going further in these experiences about identifying what are your beliefs, what are the things that are priming you about yourself, about others, and about the future, and about, of course, the past, about those things too, also. So, how do we promote all of those things? How do we start detaching? Well, just by doing very, very simple things. Be conscious. Be conscious that you are really spending too much time in these kind of platforms. Now, most of the phones have an application or of how have the statistics of how much time you're spending in each of these platforms. So just watch that in the statistics and see how much time you are spending in any of these platforms. Then start trying to address the way how you feel, either by writing, recording, walking, whatever it is that works for you. Just think about more what kind of thoughts are being triggered or primed, how are they making you feel, and how these feelings are creating behaviors that are leading you to toxicity. And then just start adding activities that allow you to be free from the devices, free from the interactions, and start having more challenging situations in terms of thinking better, reflecting better, having more control and awareness of how you feel, of what do you want to do with your life, etc. So I hope that all of this reflection helps you to really become more aware, more informed about how social media is really and proven scientifically destroying your brain. Each time that you spend more time, more than 1 hour or 1.5 hours daily in any of these platforms, is time that is wasted, that is never coming back, and that you are really priming your brain to react, not to think, not to reflect, and to be just in a fearful victim state. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that this episode liked you. And if you really resonate with the information, if I helped you in any way to reflect, to have more information about the damage, please send this episode to anyone that has children, teenagers, or even for our own reflection as adults. Let's help each other and let's be more aware that we are not winning with these kind of platforms unless you are specifically looking for learning and information. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and we will listen to each other next week. See you. Bye.